Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today with my favorites and fails of October. I don't even know what month it is. I unfortunately don't have my pumpkin anymore. He only survived 4 days in my house. After that, the heat he got squidgy and weepy and fruit flies were hanging around him, so he had to go. That's why we don't carve pumpkins in Australia. It's too hot. And it's also hot, so we don't have the cats. We've got one on the balcony, one sleeping near the window, so they only like the couch when it's colder, so oh well, cat season is gone. Anyway, I do have favorites and fails this month. I sort of feel like this month I don't have any eyeshadow favorites. I'm currently wearing the Huda Beauty Nude medium palette, and I'm just working my way slowly through a review where I test the 3 different palettes over multiple looks. But this month I mainly did my 1 month one brand, so I focused on Coloured Rain, and that took up most of the month. So eyeshadow palettes weren't really a thing for me. So everything else I've got in this tub, they're not eyeshadow palettes. Okay, this month was the month where I first tried a brand that's been around for a while and I'd never tried them, but they recently came to Mecca, and Mecca did send Beauty News a sort of parcel of a bunch of stuff. So Hayley and I split it and we've been trying them. So the brand is Jouer, and this is the collection of Jouer stuff I have here. Now, some of them are favorites, some of them are not favorites, and one of them is sort of a fail, but not a big significant fail, just like a didn't love it. Now, I am actually really surprised at how much I love some of these products. I didn't expect to love them as much as I do, and I'm just going to run through the products that I have and give you like a little recap of what I think about them. But 2 of them for me are like standout top products that, if I look at all my favorites here, they're probably some of my top favorites of the month. The first thing for sure is the highlighter. I've got the highlighter in Citrine, and I have been using this a lot, to the point where like you can actually see some usage in it, which is quite hard to do because you have to use a highlighter pretty regularly to get some like decent usage out of it. I've also been trying to balance this with using my Project Pan highlighter, so I'm sort of like, one day I use my Project Pan highlighter. When I'm going out, I'm like, you can use the Jouer. So I love this. I love the formula. I'm wearing it today. For me, in going into summer, I think this is a little bit light for me. I don't like these sort of frosty highlighters, but for winter, this would be gorgeous. I sort of want to get maybe a little bit more of a goldy one. Unfortunately, these are all available on Mecca, but I think they're online exclusive. So there's something you can't really swatch in person, which is a bit frustrating. If I could, I would go buy one today. But this is a beautiful formula. So it's quite intense, but it is also really sort of wet looking, which I love. So if I just sort of apply it sheerly, you can see it just gives like a wash of color. It doesn't look too heavy on the face. Of course, you can build it up if you wanted to, but I prefer to use a fluffy brush and sort of just buff it on. And I just think it gives the most gorgeous glow. It's not quite as good as my favorite NARS highlighters, but it's definitely one of my probably top 5 highlighters that I have in my collection. I really love it, and I've been wearing it a lot. You can just see it's really gorgeous. So in this sort of weather, I would prefer something with a little bit more of a warmer tone, but I'm definitely going to pull this out a lot in winter, and I have been using it a lot this past month, and it's staying on my desk because I want to continue to use it a lot. The next thing I really love and I want to buy more of is the Jouer lip cream. This is in the shade Terra, which is a nude. You can see it's sort of like a mauvey toned, almost like a cool toned nude. So it's that color there. I will demonstrate it. I wanted to show something else first, which is what I'm wearing, and then I wanted to demonstrate this on camera. But this is so comfortable. This is such a lovely product. You put it on, it wears really well. It doesn't feel drying. It's such a lovely product. I was really surprised. I do want to say though that I also have the lip cream in the dark red shade, which is Cabernet. And even though this color is beautiful, it doesn't wear as well as the nude, and it does go quite dry. So it's a beautiful color, but I wore it once and I was just like, look, this is it feels a little bit chunky. It starts getting a little bit bally and chunky. This one did it. So it's hard whenever people ask me what's my favorite like liquid lipstick. I always say that liquid lipsticks vary so much depending on the shade you have in that particular range. So I think my favorites are definitely Too Faced Melted Mattes, but there are some great ones in that range and some horrible ones. And this is a perfect example of a fantastic liquid lipstick and the same formula but a darker shade not being great. So I would recommend the nudes in this range, but I wouldn't recommend the really dark shades because they just, yeah, it was just dry and a bit shit. So for me, this is a bit of a fail, but I will definitely check out more of their nudes because it's such a comfortable liquid lipstick. And I don't tend to always wear matte liquid lipsticks because they can be uncomfortable, but I've been reaching for this a lot. So I will demonstrate this in a second. What I will demonstrate it under is this thing here. Now, the only thing I've actually tried in the past from Jouer, I got it in a Beautylish Lucky Box, was one of their sort of like, what are these called? Lip glosses. So these are their like lip toppers and they're very, very sparkly. Like I said, I got one in a Beautylish Lucky Bag. I think I used it a couple of times and I was just like, this is too sort of harsh for me because it was very, very sort of silvery and very obvious. So this one is just as glittery, but it's not as like obvious glittery because the color is pink and it's got a gold duochrome. So it reminds me a lot of MAC Stylishly Mary. On camera, you'll just see the pink, but it definitely has a gold shift to it, which is really, really pretty. And this one, even though it is very, very shimmery, like that's crazy. This is also really pretty if you apply it just over the matte liquid lipstick and you just pop it on for a bit of hydration and a bit of shine. It is really pretty. So I don't love this. I'm not like, I need to go out and buy more, but I actually have used it a few times, which I wasn't expecting because this is not my kind of product. So yeah, out of the range, the lip cream, the nude lip cream and the highlighter are definitely my favorites. Other things I've tried that are just sort of like, I'm still trying, is the bronzer duo. So this is the light to medium bronzer duo. And I think this is really pretty. It's quite light though. So this is actually like, people often think that because on camera I look very, very fair. I am quite fair, but I'm not like porcelain fair, I'm like beige fair. So this actually works more like a face powder for me. So this is more of a bronzer, but I think this is, I don't know, it's a little bit light for me. So I'm gonna try this more and see how it goes. I was sort of focusing on my Project Pan bronzer for a lot of this month, but I'll try this a bit more and see how I like it. I do like the color of it and I do like how it applies. I just don't know how much it suits my skin tone right now. I've also tried the Creme eyeshadow crayon. This is a nice product. It is a little bit sticky, so I find these sort of cream eyeshadow products a bit funny. And the color, I really love it swatched, but it doesn't really suit my coloring too much, but it's a nice product. Another thing I've tried a couple of times I do like, but I'm not like in love with, is the Lip Enhancer Shine Balm. And this is a really beautiful shade. So it's just a normal sort of nude brown. The shade of this is Amaryllis. So yeah, it's just a beautiful sort of toffee brown tinted balm. So overall, I'm really surprised at how much I've been really liking this range. For me, there's only really one product that I didn't love and it still works. It's just not, I just don't like the fuss of it, but everything else just works really well. But my standouts are the highlighter and the nude lip cream. I think they're beautiful. Before I do demo those, I wanted to talk about these that are like a sneaky thing that I didn't expect to love. They're by Elizabeth Arden and they're sort of formulated based on their 8-hour cream. And they're called Lip Protectant Sticks. They're sheer tints with SPF 15. Now, I didn't expect to like these as much as I do. Some people really, really love the 8-hour cream and I don't hate it. I just don't really reach for it too often. I do think it does good things, but the smell's really strong and it's, you know, quite tacky and I prefer a normal lip balm. So I'm not a huge 8-hour cream fanatic, but I know a lot of people out there are. These are a little bit more up my alley. So these are tinted lip balms similar to this guy, but it's got SPF and it's got sort of like the properties of the 8-hour cream. Now I'm wearing this one today. So this is the shade Honey, and they look a lot darker than they actually apply because they are a sheer tint. So once again, it's like similar to that. It's just this is a little bit more peachy. It's a little bit more honey toned, but it's so comfortable. has a bit of that 8-hour cream sort of scent to it, but nothing too major. But I've been reaching for these a lot just day to day. I actually wore this one, which is in the shade Plum, in a video a little while ago. And it's just a really beautiful sort of berry tint. This would actually be really nice over things like this that are too dry to add a bit of hydration. So I really like these. I've been reaching for them a lot. I didn't expect to. All right, now that I've addressed the lip product, I'm gonna take it off and apply the lip cream with that sparkly thing over the top. So you can definitely see there's pigment to that lip gloss, and it just, like, now the shine is gone. Ba-bam. All right, Jouer lip cream. This is sort of like my lips but better, and it's so comfortable. I love this color. So that's the color there, which I really think is beautiful. It's a really flattering color for sort of my skin tone. Really matches my lips super well. But the thing about it is that it starts to dry matte, but it doesn't dry down powder dry. Like my lips stick together. So there's a bit of moisture there. It's not too heavy. It feels like a mousse. So it's not a very liquid lipstick. It's more like a mousse that you can apply quite thinly, which is really, really lovely. And it's not completely set, but I'm going to go in with the lip gloss. So I'm just going to look at that color. It is crazy. If I put that all over, I would have disco lips, which I don't want to have, but I do think it's a cool idea if you're into that. And I'm just going to tap that in. So I did tap that in quite a lot and sort of blended it in because there was a lot of gloss. But now it's got a bit of a shine, and it's got a bit of a sort of hydrating finish because it's a mix between a matte and a gloss, and they don't ball up together, which is really nice. But I might zoom in so you can see it because I'm not sure if you can really see it. So now it looks a lot more hydrating, and as you sort of move, there's a bit of a pink sheen that isn't really catching on camera, but it's very pretty in real life. So I do wear the lip cream on its own a lot more than applying the gloss over the top, but it just shows that you can add sort of a different dimension to it. And like I said, you can't really see it on camera, but in person, it's got a really pretty pink sheen to it, which is kind of fun. The next thing that I've loved this month, and I think if I had to pick my top 3, it's going to be the Jouer highlighter, the Jouer lip cream, and this thing here. So this is by Laura Mercier, and it's a caviar stick in the shade Rush, which is this beautiful duochrome shade. I was actually sent this by a lovely Beauty News subscriber, and it was a beautiful present. Thank you very much. So this is, yeah, it's a caviar stick. So it's one of those stick cream eyeshadow things, like I mentioned, like this one here from Jouer, but I love this one more. So I'm not sure if you can see, it almost has a nude base, but it's got this blue shift to it, and it is gorgeous. So I've used it on its own, and I do find that I need to set the crease so it doesn't sort of like crease, but I love this more applying it over eyeshadow, especially if you have almost like a dark brown matte base and you put this over the top, it just pops. So I might see if I can demonstrate this just over some of the eyeshadow I'm wearing today, because it is gorgeous. It makes any look divine. All right, I might actually just pop this in the inner corner just so you can see the effect that it gives. It just gives this beautiful blue sparkle effect. And because it's got that sort of nude base, it just works gorgeously. I just want to put it everywhere. I end up just wanting to put it everywhere because it really is pretty. It's almost adding a duochrome blue sparkle to a look with no effort. And I really, really love it. And like I was trying to say, because it's got the beige base or the nude base, it just works over so many sort of nude or brown or pink or red eyeshadow looks. Just adds something really pretty. Okay, I've just turned the ISO way down so you can sort of see the shift a bit more. It looks a lot more blue. Okay, I've put this on really unevenly, but it looks a lot more blue in person. It doesn't really get the color shift on camera, but you can sort of see the effect that it's kind of giving. It's really, really pretty. So when I feel like my eyeshadow is a little bit basic and I want to just ramp it up, I love just chucking that on the lid or in the inner corner or lower lash line. It's really, really beautiful. So it's like mauvey, purple, blue, beige. Oh, I don't know, I just love it. I think it's such a great product. And I have actually used mini caviar sticks and they last for ages. So I feel like I'm going to have this in my collection for a long time, and I am happy about it. Because I was trying to finish my 1 month, one brand until like mid this month, I was sort of neglecting eyeshadows entirely and focusing more on sort of like lip products and stuff. So more lip products that I've been loving. And I think these, like this month for me has been a pretty good lip like month. I've discovered a few cool things. I've discovered a few cool combinations, some cool tinted things. So I've just been really enjoying the lip products I've been using. But Kester Black did launch their first ever lip product. So they launched some liquid lipsticks. They launched, I think, 6 of them, and I've got 2 of them here. They've also launched them in packs with matching nail polishes. Now I have mentioned this in a video or two. So when people have asked me what sort of brown nude nail polish I'm wearing, it's this one here, which matches exactly the lip product Never Nude. So they're both in the shade Never Nude. So you can buy the lip products individually, or you can also buy them in a pack. You can't buy these sort of exclusive matching nail polishes individually. You have to get them in the pack. But I have worn this a few times. I'm not wearing it now, obviously, but it's a really, really beautiful nude and I love it. I might actually redo my nails later today and use that one. But I'm loving the liquid lipsticks. So this is Never Nude, which is a beautiful nude shade. It's a little bit more brown tone than what I'm wearing. I'll compare it to the Jouer one. They look quite similar on camera, but that's a Kester Black one. That's a Jouer. It's a little bit more pinky mauve. This one's a little bit more thin and it's a little bit more lightweight on the lips. It's less moussey, but it lasts really, really well. I really enjoy it. I've also got the red, which is cool. I think this is really fun. I've only used this a couple of times, but it's lasted really well. A lot better than this Jouer one. So this one's in the shade Powwow, and this is gorgeous. So we've got it here. It's just a beautiful classic red. It's gorgeous and it's really, really beautiful on the lips. And if you did want a perfectly matching nail polish to go with it, you can also buy it in the pack with the nail polish. I just have the individual one here. But yeah, I think this is a really great step for Kester Black. I really like their nail polishes. I really like these little kits that have the matching nail polish and the lip product. I'm not a matchy person, but when something matches as perfectly as this, I sometimes just want to wear it because it's cool, especially when it is a really flattering nude. So I've been loving these. I do want to mention as well, sort of update from I think last month, I mentioned some of Kester Black's nail treatments. Was it last month or the month before? Whatever. But I watched Hayley's favorites video, I think last month, and she mentioned how good the top coat was because her and I have a similar sort of issue where nail polish just chips on us like that. Like I have one shower and it's all chipped off almost. So when she said that this really extends the wear of her nail polish, I thought, oh, I've sort of damaged my nails a bit recently by using gels, so I might take a bit of a break and just use nail polishes. So I was using their base coat, which is the Miracle Treatment Base Coat. I like using that on its own or under nail polish. And I've been using their Supersonic top coat as well. And I feel like my nail polish has been lasting pretty well. Right now it's looking chipped as hell. This is a grey from one of their old collections. This is called Silver Birch. But I actually applied this about a week ago. So the chipping is actually pretty good. This is a chipping I usually get in 2 days. So I have been really enjoying going back to nail polishes and not having to worry about gel and soaking up the gel and blah, blah, and getting impatient and then like chipping it off and then ruining your nail polish. So I really do like this base coat and top coat combo. And when I get home from going out later, I'm going to put this one on because I love it. All right, a couple of random sort of base favorites before I get on to fails. And unfortunately, I do have quite a few fails today. So I wanted to mention my primers. So I sort of started using this primer, no, that way. So this is the Smashbox Minimize Pores Primer. And what I do like about this is it's a sort of pore filling sort of silicone primer, but it also is supposed to be mattifying and also control oil for up to 8 hours. So I love using it in my T-zone. Now, this is great going into summer and the warmer months. Today's 35 degrees Celsius. So it's a pretty warm day and I have been really enjoying using this. So I like it. It's good. It's a good addition. I like it more than things like Benefit Professional and other sort of silicone primers like that. I think it's really great. But I have had these sort of issues with dry patches of skin, especially on my forehead. So I've had these little like not constant, but like frequent breakouts, these tiny little dots on my forehead. And when they start to heal, they get quite dry and they get quite flaky. So there's a lot of texture and a lot of dryness on my forehead at any one time. I either have spots or I have like flaking, dry little patches. And I do know that when I sort of mention these types of things, I do get a lot of people in the comments saying, do this, do that, take away this, take away that. I know exactly what's causing it, and it's a health thing. And until that is sort of resolved, this is not going to resolve. So I'm just dealing with it, which is not a big problem, but I'm not going to eliminate anything from my diet or my skincare because I know exactly what's causing it. So I'm just living with it for now. So what I tend to do, which I like the combination of as well. So I started using this Smashbox Radiance Primer, which is actually supposed to be quite shimmery, and it's supposed to give you sort of like a sun-kissed glow. I don't feel like it's glowy enough to do that. So it's here. So it does give you a bit of a tint, and it does have a slight sheen to it, but nothing like major. It doesn't look glittery on the skin or anything, which is really nice. So you can barely see it when you blend it in. But I just feel like this is a really nice hydrating primer that does add a little bit of glow and sort of masks a bit of dryness. So I tend to use this on my face, and then I go in with this on my sort of T-zone where it can handle it. And I really like them both, and I really like the combination. So sometimes I use one, sometimes I use both. Today I'm using both, and I dig them both. So they're both really nice primers. The last base product I've been really enjoying, and I have been stopping myself from using it because I'm still trying to use up a finishing spray in my project pan, and I've been doing pretty well with it because it's quite hot lately. So I find myself at my computer just doing work, and I'm like spraying myself with it because it's really nice. But one that I really do like is by Fourth Ray Beauty. So this is a Glisten Up Mist, and you can see hopefully that it does have some shimmer in it. Nothing too crazy. It's not like the MAC Fix Plus shimmer ones that have like too much shimmer that when you see the little dots on your face, it looks speckledy, sparkly. It's not like that at all. It's just a very fine amount of shimmer, as you can see. But I don't even like this for the shimmer. I just like this because it's a really beautiful, refreshing mist. It's a nice, fine spray, which I think is fantastic. And I think MAC should learn from it. But also, it's quite citrusy, so it's really refreshing. Oh, yeah, it's like you're spraying yourself with the scent of orange juice, and it just feels really refreshing. So this is going to be a summer favorite of mine. It's just really simple, but really effective. All right, on to fails. I'm going to mention this. I think I've mentioned it 3 favorites in a row. It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. I have definitely confirmed that this is a mascara that the first 2 weeks, it looks great. The rest of the time, it is a clumpy mess, and to use it, the wand is so heavily loaded, like I'm using it today. You literally have to do this. Scrape off as much as possible, which is a lot, just to use it comfortably without clumps. That's the way I'm continuing to use it until I use it up, because I do like that effect, but I don't want to waste that much product every time I have to do my mascara. So this is one that I would not recommend unless you like really spidery, heavy, clumpy lashes. But if you do take off the excess, it is a nice product. And I have tried to scrape a lot off the side, so I'm not wasting it all. I just find that you can never get enough off. You literally either have to scrape it onto your hand or into a tissue, and yeah, I like the effects when you do that, but fuck me buying this again to go through that. It's not going to happen. Another thing that I've just started using and I do not like, so I might add this into my project pan so I can use it up. It's not so bad that it's unusable, it's just not great. So this is the $1 Billion Brows Universal Brow Pencil. I don't think there's anything universal about it at all. It's like a dark brown brow pencil. Like if they're saying that everyone can use it, which is exactly what they're saying, they're lying, because it is a dark brown pencil. It does actually match my brows really well, so I don't hate the color. What I don't like is I find that it is a very creamy formula, so you put it on and it just adds like chunks to your brows. I like a firmer brow pencil where I can sort of like mimic hairs and really control where I'm putting the product, whereas this one just like is like a, I don't know, like a really warm crayon that just smears product on. And also the problem with that is you can't get a precise look. You always get blocked brows. And if you do use a spoolie to brush it out, it actually smears it all over your face. So it's a difficult pencil. I can see myself using it up by just using it in the bulk of my brows like I did today, and then going in with a micro brow to define it and sort of diffuse it. But yeah, I just wanted to mention this because I have heard this around a lot. And I always questioned, like, can you actually have a universal brow pencil? And I think the answer is no, but also I just don't like the formula of this. So it's just not something I like. I also wanted to mention a liner from Colourpop. I think this is the first time I've used these sort of pen liners from Colourpop. I have used their pot liners before, and they do vary in quality. Some of them are really, really dry. Some of them are really good. The black's really good. The colors can be quite dry. But this is the first time I've used a pencil one. So this is a purple shade. This is in the shade No Shame, which is, you know, a fine color. It's looks really pretty, really pigmented. I tend to use pencils like this on my waterline, and this was the worst waterline pencil I think I've ever used. I used this and I literally drew it on, and I took a little bit of effort to get it on, which was fine, and then I blinked and it was gone. It was gone. So I think these are good if you want to apply them to your top lash line, but I always use either gels or pens to get a more sort of bold, precise line. I really don't like the look of a pencil on the top lash line. The only way I will ever use this is if I'm drawing it on like the lower lash line or the outer corner and buffing it in to make a smoky look, and then follow with a more precise liner. But as like a waterline product, these are the worst. They're horrible. For the record though, I do want to mention that I do quite like their liquid liners. So I've got a couple of these and these work pretty well. They're not fantastic, but I do think that they are a lot nicer and more usable than the pencil liners. The last thing I want to mention is a product in a range that I bought recently. Now I'm still testing most of this, but there's something really, really frustrating and I just want to mention it. So this is the new Shiseido base range. So this is a Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. I'm actually wearing it today, and I'm also wearing the concealer that goes with it. This is something, the Shiseido concealer. The foundation's a little bit light for me, so it's probably more something that I'll have to wear a bit in winter. But right now I don't love it because it is a drier formula and it does cling to my dry patches. So I sort of have been avoiding this until this situation gets fixed. The concealer is quite nice, so I do quite like this. My shade is fair and it's a good shade match for me. The thing I don't like but I really want to love is the powder. So this is the Radiant powder. I also have the mattifying powder, and I have a lot of hopes for this powder. I just can't access it. So essentially you have a powder puff and you have this sort of, it's not even a mesh, it's like a thin like stocking material. So I'll have to zoom in so you can see it, but it's not like, it's a bouncy stocking material. It's not a mesh where you can see the holes very clearly, and the product just does not come out. Originally I was using this with a brush, trying to get the product out and put it on. It wasn't happening. Then I thought, oh, I don't like using these products, but I thought, okay, I'll use the sponge that comes with it. Maybe it picks up the product really well, and I'm like trying to get it out, and to put the product on, it's like the sheerest layer and it doesn't do anything for me. I'm really tempted to rip that out and just use it as like a normal loose powder, because I have hopes for the powder. I just can't stand the packaging. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. So it's like a bouncy, like a stocking material, but it's, yeah, it doesn't let anything through. It's very hard to get product out. So yeah, I'm gonna keep trying these and trying to get the product out and trying to see how they work, and I will eventually probably do a review of them, but right now I don't really have much thoughts on these except for get the fuck out of the container, please. All right, so those are my favorites and fails for October. I will list all the products in the description box if you missed anything. There are some really good things that I found this month that I'm really excited about. So like the lip products, the Jouer highlighter's gorgeous. The Laura Mercier's thing is just divine. But yeah, those are the things that stand out to me as either being great products that I've been really enjoying using, or products that have frustrated the crap out of me for some reason. And hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what your favorites and fails for October were. And if you've tried any of these products, what do you think? Like, do you have recommendations of Jouer lip creams that aren't like this but are like this? I would love to hear them, because the formula of this one is gorgeous. The formula of this one, not so gorgeous. Anyway, guys, hopefully you have a great day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.